auspicious blessings and grace of my Guru, His Holiness Paramahamsa Sri Nithyananda Swamiji, I welcome you all to this video. Loneliness. Many people have fear of loneliness over fear of death. It's almost become like an epidemic. What is this loneliness? Why do people experience loneliness? Is loneliness a reality or is it a myth? Swamiji has given us beautiful answers for loneliness. How? If we can convert the feeling of loneliness to experiencing aloneness, we can experience liberation. Man is a social animal. We've all heard this many times before. And we prove it again and again by being very social, very outgoing, having as many friends as possible, going for programs, going for parties. Man has become almost a party animal. But sometimes, and rather I would say many times, people experience feeling alone, or as popularly termed as loneliness. They could be in the midst of a party, they could be in the midst of a wedding, they could be in the midst of their most loved ones on this planet. But sometimes they experience loneliness and they start feeling, oh, I feel so lonely. I feel so alone. There is nobody else for me in this world. Why does a man experience that? Despite being among the people he loves the most. And it's not only people who are in the corporate world, people who are, as people perceive it, as upper middle class or the lower middle class, but people who have been successful in every aspect of their life, have achieved what they always dreamt of, also feel lonely, feel depressed. Loneliness is sometimes confused with depression and as a mental health disorder. But it's not true. The more you feed the fact, the more you nourish the fact that you feel lonely and you have nobody for you, that may lead to feeling depressed. But the moment you feel disconnected from the happenings around you does not mean you are lonely. You may be experiencing yourself at that moment, but you're not lonely. Courage is not just about not having any fears, not having any phobia, but having the ability to face your fears and overcome them with completion. That's what life is all about. Otherwise, what happens is we start feeling lonely, we start nourishing it, we start telling people, oh, I'm feeling so lonely, I don't have anybody with me. And there's one thing I've heard many people say is, if you're at the top, you're lonely. You're lonely at the top. Nobody is lonely anywhere. You can experience success in all aspects. But you're lonely only if you continuously tell yourself you are alone, you have nobody to trust, you have nobody with you. Only then you can even experience loneliness. Otherwise, there's nothing like loneliness. There is only aloneness, where you experience yourself. If you probably give some more time and attend to that feeling where you feel disconnected to the happening around you, you will understand it is your own higher self, your own higher consciousness calling and telling you, this is not you. The party, the so-called friends, the so-called success, the so-called wealth, the so-called suffering, all this is not you. There is something else that is the actual you which you need to look and find. Do you have the courage to find the actual you? The very first hurdle that comes across is many people don't know who they actually are, what they actually want. How do you find this out? That doesn't mean you go sit in some lonely cabin and try to do some homework and try to do some meditation. It's got nothing to do with being away from the world or being away from the happenings in your life. For every happening, we come with a cognition, a negative cognition, which is when you start feeling lonely and depressed. For most successful people, And I would say for myself also, as in my pre monastic life, I have been in the film world. I was an actress who has acted in over 5 languages in South India. Sorry, let me say, rephrase it as 4 languages in South India. I understand how people who have seen success, who have seen fame, who have seen wealth may start feeling that they are lonely. They don't have people whom they can trust. They don't have people whom they can depend upon. But it's not true. It is not true that you need someone else to trust. You yourself are enough. But to find and empower yourself, you need to go through a lot of completion. You need to have the courage to face your powerlessness, your incompletions, and your fears. Do you have the courage to face your fear and overcome them and complete them? And actually, loneliness is not even a fear, it's more of a phobia, which you have probably heard from millions of people through millions of friends who feel or who express, oh, they feel so lonely, or they say, oh, nobody's around me trustworthy, and I feel I will die a lonely old nun. It's not true. There is nothing like loneliness in this world. You may be feeling alone, but please understand aloneness and loneliness are different, and there is actually nothing like loneliness. You start experiencing loneliness as a suffering because you're not able to overcome your dilemmas, your conflicts, be it in relationship or work or anywhere, and have a very simple solution which Swamiji has shared with us, which is when I realized that loneliness is actually a myth, a phobia, an irrational phobia which I had built into myself because seeing so many things and so many people who die alone or who will be living alone and continuously keep telling me, oh, they feel so lonely, they have so many family and friends, but there's nobody around them to take care of them when they need something. If you need people to take care of you when you need something, it is not called loneliness. It is called needing people. Let us be clear that we are needy people, not feeling lonely. If you understand that you need people because you want them to take care of you, you will understand that there is nothing called loneliness. Because aloneness is by choice, which you will do just out of the joy of wanting to be by yourself. Now, how do you get through these various dilemmas and confusions and conflicts, be it with relationships or with people at workplace or with your neighbors whom you hardly see? Today, I'm sure all of you will experience many people live in these huge, monstrous apartments, but they don't even know who their neighbors are. What kind of a life are we living today as human beings? When we are not ready to connect to another human being, how are you going to even exist in this world? How are we going to be happy with each other? What kind of a global society or globalization we're talking about? Think through. What are we really doing in this world? We just alienate ourselves more and more, having various reasons. We are too busy to meet our neighbors, but we would drive 300 kilometers away to meet someone who's part of your working atmosphere. You will not even say hello to our own neighbors who just live next door. And there are many people I know who don't even know who their neighbors are. Do we really want to continue living in this world? We all behave like this because we feel there is something inside of us which we need to protect, which we need to defend, and we feel being mysterious is nice. It isn't nice. If you are friendly, the world is friendly. You will find friends everywhere. But today, most people have more fear, are more defensive, and are more aggressive in their self defense, which is why they start alienating themselves from the society, then slowly from their friends, slowly from their relatives, and they start living alone. It could be for many reasons. It could, people say, oh, I don't have a good marital relationships. My spouse was not trustworthy, or my friends betrayed me, or my friend ran away with my money, or my brother is trying to get my wealth. But these are not the reasons for us to be unfriendly. That's what he wants, that's how he wants to live his life. That's his decision. But there is no need for us to disconnect ourselves from people. Once we start building these barriers in our mind that people are not trustworthy or people will not stand by us, then we start alienating. It could be, you may think you are disconnecting yourself from just one or two people in your life who you feel have not stood by you, who you feel are not trustworthy. But as you go through life, you will find this a repetitive pattern in your life where you start withdrawing, even if you feel that person may at some point of time in the future let you down or use you or use your influence for some reason or the other. You start withholding yourself from relationships. So you'll see you will never have a genuine relationship or a friendship with anybody by the time you reach 40 or 50 years old. That is when you start experiencing, as you term it, as loneliness. But this loneliness is something you have created by yourself. Just because another man is a thief or he has done something wrong to you, there is no reason in this world for you or me to disconnect from many other people. There are millions of people out there who are strangers but can be our friends. I'd like you all to try a few exercises today because this will make you realize what I'm telling. Where the conflict actually starts. How do I resolve this conflict? Only when this internal conflict, you start withdrawing yourself from the world. The moment you have faith in yourself, in your core personality or a characteristic that you believe is you, nothing in the world can shake you or move you away from anybody around you. First, write down what you actually think about yourself. You should look deep into yourself through layers and layers of thoughts and see what you believe. Do you believe you're a good person? By good person, how do you define a good person? You're all forgiving, all compassionate. Do you believe that you're friendly? And if you believe you're friendly, do you have barriers to this friendship? Do you have rules to how your friend should behave with you? And if you have rules as to how your friend should behave with you, do you have similar rules as to how you should behave with your friends? Write down in detail. Do you believe you're a selfish person? If you do, see what all aspects you believe you're a selfish person. Do you believe you're a beautiful person? Then write down in what all aspects you believe you're a beautiful person. Likewise, whatever you know or how or whomever you can speak to, if you can speak to people and understand how they perceive you. Do they perceive you as you see yourself, as a good person or a selfish person or a forgiving person, a compassionate person, a friendly person? Do they see you the way you see yourself? Speak to your friends, families, even your co workers, and hear, listen to what and how they perceive you. This can be another column. In the last column, write how the world wants you to be with them, what qualities they expect from you, how they want you to relate to them. By the world, I don't mean just your family, but to every person in your life, be it a watchman, be it your driver, be it your office boy, your wife, rather, let me rephrase it, your spouse, your children, your parents, your grandparents, and if you have great grandparents, and your friends, everybody. Because when you talk to so many people, you will understand the gap between who you perceive you are, who you believe you are, how the world is seeing you, and what they want from you. And it's not all the time that people want your money or your fame or your time. Many times people just want a smile from you. They just want you to acknowledge their presence in your life. And that solves many of your conflicts, your dilemmas. And when you start talking to so many people, you will start understanding people, and you will realize, and many of your cognitions, your presumptions, your assumptions about people and the way they think of you and the way they respond to you will automatically be complete when you speak to them. So write this exercise. Like I said, make 3 columns, or you can have 3 notebooks. And in the first column, in the first notebook, write how you think you are, who you are. Write down all the qualities you identify with yourself, but analyze each quality you identify with and see if you authentically identify with that quality and that characteristic. If it is you, then write it down. But if you feel that you have expressed those characteristics, but it is not actually you, then realize you need to drop it because you have picked it up from somewhere, from something which is not part of you. When you do the first phase of this exercise, writing down who you think you are, you will start listening to yourself. This will be the first step of listening and analyzing yourself authentically, because when you do this exercise, you will realize this exercise is not for anybody, it is for you. You are investing yourself for yourself. And when it's for yourself, you will authentically and genuinely do it. And the second column and in the second book, write down how your colleagues, your people around you perceive you. By their perception, it also means how you have been projecting yourself to so many people in your life. When you listen to them, your listening goes deeper levels. You will start understanding how there is a gap between what you wanted to say, what got communicated, and try to understand it was a mismatch and a miscommunication. Thirdly, in the last column, or if you have a third notebook, write down the qualities that people in your world expect from you, or what they expect from you. And when you do this entire exercise, this is the most powerful, authentic exercise you can do to go deeper into the space of listening to yourself and to the world around you. And you'll realize when you do this whole exercise authentically, you will realize your power of intuition has awakened. Because Swamiji says, when you authentically start listening, intuition awakens in you. And you'll see how your life has transformed from column 1 to column 3. I hope this exercise, you do it authentically because it is powerful. It does transform the way you think, the way people see you, and the way you project yourself to the world. When you start aligning these 3, your life will be so much transformed because many conflicts will start dropping. Your life starts becoming blissful. Your life starts manifesting the way you have always desired it to be. If you have any other questions, clarifications regarding this, please write to me in this comments box below and reach out to me, connect to me either on my Facebook or my Twitter handle or on my Instagram, and I will always get back to you with guidance that I know of. And if it's something I am not aware of, I will get guidance from my Guru, His Holiness Paramahamsa Sri Nithyananda Swamiji. Many times, there may be few powerlessness and incompletions which you feel you will not be able to complete by yourself. For that, I recommend and very strongly recommend that you should take advantage of having a living incarnation amongst us and attend one of his programs, attend one of the programs that Swamiji personally conducts, the Inner Awakening. Just sitting in the presence of Swamiji and writing down all your powerlessness and incompletion, they just dissolve and you will feel not even realize that these things have been dissolved from your life very painlessly. Inner Awakening is a life transforming program designed and conducted by His Holiness Paramahamsa Sri Nithyananda Swamiji, specially for all of us, which helps us to overcome our completions, overcome our incompletions, powerlessness, to become more powerful, to be in a space of completion so we can manifest the extraordinary powers. This is a program that gives a breakthrough to human consciousness, where we move from human consciousness to superhuman consciousness. These are not just words. I invite you all to this Inner Awakening program, which is a 21-day program conducted in the Bangalore Adhinam by my Guru, His Holiness Paramahamsa Sri Nithyananda Swamiji, and experience this as a reality in your life, as millions of his devotees and disciples have done. If you have any more questions, please reach out to me. And if you find this video useful to yourself, please remember there are many more people like you who will find this video useful, who will be able to connect to a guru because of your effort of just sharing this video. Please press like and subscribe this video. Hope to see you again. Nithyananda.